Good day and welcome to a rather blustery Monday segment of A Week at the Plot. Today is a bank holiday in the UK, so for us the first Monday in May is a bank holiday and the last Monday in May is a bank holiday. This bank holiday is our spring bank holiday. And for the last few days, over maybe up to about a week, there's been a forecast of heavy rain today and rain showers over the coming few days. But what I noticed this morning in looking at the forecast is I knew we were going to have stronger winds, but it looks as though we're going to have stronger winds than I had anticipated. And certainly at the moment, you might be able to hear the shed creaking. That's the plastic on the roof creaking. But we're having some wind up to 50 kilometers an hour as general wind, but then we're having some gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour forecast as well. So seeing that, what I am doing is I'm having a look around the plot, making sure that anything that is not wind safe, i.e. might be blown about by the wind, I'm going to make sure that those things are wind safe. I left my watering can empty yesterday, and when I was down with Richard earlier today, we just popped into the plot on the way back from a walk. I noticed it had fallen over, so I'm going to fill that up and put that down to weight that down. And there's a few other things that I'm going to do to make sure that things are wind safe. You know, with 70 kilometer an hour gusts, we need to make sure things are safe. One thing that I am going to do is some remedial work straight away on a hawthorn that we have. Unfortunately, it's by the polytunnel. It's really quite old, and what I noticed is about 2 weeks ago I cut it back so that it was well above my head, and then when I went to the compost bins, the hot bin composter in particular, the other day, as I got to the hot bin composter I thought, hang on, you've just ducked. And I looked back and a large bit of the bough is actually rotten, and I think it's fallen forward, and the bit that is living still is rotting further back. So actually, in order to protect the polytunnel, I'm going to be cutting that off now. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Hopefully it may not be too windy, but if it is too windy, I'll take the volume down and just put text in underneath, over it, under the image. This area here, right at the back, is a wildlife area that goes behind our sheds. This is our dead hedge, hot bin composter here, some crates here, this water tank that I absolutely hate. But this here, you can see it's hanging down to here at the moment. This was up here the other day. So this has fallen by about 4 feet. And it's because this branch here is old and rotten. And actually this branch, which is the still growing branch, is rotting at the base. So in order to make sure that the polytunnel does not get damaged, I'm going to cut most of this off. I hate doing it because it's just about to flower. But you know what I will hate even more is if this falls and destroys the back of the polytunnel. So I'm going to get in with my Japanese saw and just saw some branches off. I will still need to take out this big rotten branch here that is covered in ivy, because that is the danger. If that breaks and pulls this down, which it would do, that's when this will get punctured and broken. So even if I cut this off, I still need to do remedial work up here to remove this big dead branch stroke trunk. I mean, the good thing about doing this is it's going to reinvigorate growth elsewhere. So you know what, that's the fabulous thing about nature. Most times you cut something back, they'll grow back with increased vigor. Okay, so I've cleared this area to protect the poly, as I said, and now it's this branch that I've just been looking at, and it's definitely dead. In fact, so is this one over here. Not fully dead, but pretty dead. And then this tree continues with this branch up here. You know what, this I mean, I've been here for 4 years and I haven't looked at this. I've looked at it but not thought, oh, I'll do something about it. But actually, let me just tip you up a bit. There. I really need to think about trimming this down a bit as well up here. Not today. I was only doing that job to clear this space to protect the polytunnel. I need to think about managing this. That is that job done, which I'm really pleased about. It's quite windy. It's time to go home, but yeah, I'm pleased I've done that. I've filled up the watering can. I've moved a few other things about. I put a few things into the storage unit at the side of the shed. So yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I know many of you have winds far stronger than this, and I have to say, when I see comments about subscribers on either our YouTube channel or on Planet Vegetaria talking about tornadoes they get, it's sort of like, oh wow, here's me moaning about strong gusts of wind. But for us, they are strong gusts of wind. I suppose it's all what you get used to. So yeah, I'm pleased to have got that job done. Obviously, I don't know if you noticed, I was wearing my protective specs when I did that. Obviously, I was soaring above my head. It would have been sensible to have had a helmet, but I don't have a helmet. But yeah, I had good hold of what I was soaring. What I was more worried about was sawdust going into my eyes, and therefore the protective specs. So now I'm going to go home, have lunch, and be down tomorrow, and hopefully everything will be fine. I'm sure it will be. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. And if you're having strong winds today, hopefully everything will be okay with you. But if you do have an opportunity to get to wherever you are and make sure things aren't going to be flying about in your back garden or your allotment or your front yard or whatever, then do that. Okay, I'm going now. I'll see you again very soon. Bye. Good day. I think we can see my intervention in this area yesterday was quite timely, because this did break, and this is where it's lying now. So taking those additional branches off here has saved potentially the polytunnel from being burst. Oh, can you see that magpie? Hello, Mr. Magpie. Hello. No, he's not that interested. Let's take a closer look. There is where the branch fell from, part of the trunk, and it fell onto our crates here, which then the weight took over here. So in here, I'm not sure if you can see in there, can you see that trunk? That's what has fallen off. And these bits are what we took off yesterday. And I'm really glad I did do that. But now I need to clear this. Right, I'm just going to get on and do that. Much of it will go onto our dead hedge at the back here. This is where we put a lot of branches, buddleia, cuttings, a whole load of stuff that is going to break down over time. And it makes a fabulous wildlife retreat down there. And we've seen hedgehogs, hoglets, and stag beetles in this pile, or at the bottom of this pile, which you can't see because the fallen trunk is in the way. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to get on and clear this. I'll see you again very soon. Bye. Good day. I was just going to go down to the allotment half an hour ago, and then the rain started. Richard's been doing quite a lot of tidying of the garden, clearing a really old grapevine from that pergola there. And all of those pots are our terracotta pots. We've got a lot over the years. Anyway, what I'm thinking more now is about getting these to the plot. I had hoped that all of these would be at the plot by now, but it's not happened. because the overnight temperatures have been pretty poor. But hopefully from tomorrow, it looks as though nighttime temperatures are around 4 degrees or more. So hopefully we'll be getting these down. What I have noticed is, look at my pink Bulgarian. I've only got 3 left. And they're not looking great. Can't really see them, but pink Bulgarian is a firm favourite of ours, and it's really not grown well this year. Anyway, they will be going down to the plot tomorrow or Friday. I think they'll be going down on Friday. In the meantime, I'm just going to look at the rain for a bit. I do rather love rain, and having had so little this year so far, it's quite a joy. See you soon. Bye. Good day. As you saw, I've positioned these two frames that we're going to climb Uchiki Kuri squash up, as long as they germinate. I positioned them in the beds this morning and have secured them. Before I did that, I actually hand weeded with my hand fork these two beds again, and surprisingly got quite a bit of sancfoil out, maybe another 30 pieces of sancfoil and a little bit of bindweed. So they've been well hand weeded again. And then I position these in place and then use these rebars that we have to secure them. So I banged the rebars into the ground quite firmly, and then I've used cable ties, we'll come on to that in a minute, plastic cable ties to secure the frame to the rebars. So yeah, I'm really pleased I've done that. I'm going to be sowing beans on either side and also up here. So the Uchiki Kuri will hopefully climb up the frames inside, and the beans will have frames outside, i.e. bamboo, to climb up to. Hopefully, as our really cold temperatures are now over, I've also planted out our Amish deer tongue lettuce and Burpees iceberg lettuce. I was going to do them in a block like that, and then decided to put them on either side here for easier picking, and then in the middle I'm likely to do some direct sowing of beetroot or potentially French beans. Dwarf French beans. Let me have a think about that. But yeah, that's an idea, isn't it? Or do I want beetroot or turnips? I'm really pleased to have got those two jobs done. So I've been waiting for the temperatures to get to a certain level. So from now on, we're supposed to be about 4 degrees or more overnight. So I'm happy for the lettuce to go out from the polytunnel. The polytunnel doesn't, it keeps that wind chill off, but it doesn't really hold heat. Unlike a greenhouse, which I think always holds 1 or 2 degrees additional heat, the polytunnel really doesn't. But what it does do is it stops that wind chill getting in. And I'm now happy to put those lettuce out. They haven't been hardened off as I would do with other things, because I know they're pretty hardy. So fingers crossed they will grow well. I think they're looking really good. I didn't show you the roots. Why didn't I show you the roots? They're looking really good. Nice plug plants, and yeah, I'm just basically happy with them. The frames that we've put in for our Uchiki Kuri squash, which fingers crossed will germinate, though there's no sign of them yet, I have used cable ties. Now, you hear me go on about do not use plastic on your site. Do not particularly buy plastic and use it unless it's really, really durable. Well, A, I haven't bought these. B, I wasn't given them. And C, they are really durable. These are reusable ones. Most nowadays are. They have a little nipple in there. I think you can just see it, that bar that goes across. And when you have them, when you close them up, that bar stops this from slipping open. But what you can do is you can use a knife or something, or even your fingernail. I've used my fingernail to pull that bar down, and it allows you to slip that out. Where did I get these? From our lampposts. And I'm sure if you look on lampposts near you, you will find that there are plenty of these that have just been left on lampposts. Our council uses these for their planning applications. So when someone's having an extension or the road is going to be closed or something like that, they will do a notice, and the notice is sort of like plastic paper, and it has 2 holes in the bottom and 2 holes in the top. These get threaded through, and then these get attached to lampposts. When the planning application is finished, what normally happens is those just get left there, or they get taken away. But what doesn't very often get taken away is the cable tie. So what I've done is, on my way to the plot, I've got a couple of different roads that I can go down, and I have secured, well, no, secured is, I have unsecured these cable ties from the lampposts because they were no longer being used. They were just lying at the base of the lamppost, if you like, just with nothing, no notice or anything. Obviously, if there's a notice there, you don't take these. But if they're just lying there doing nothing, then remove them. We do have someone who occasionally goes around and clips them all off. But of course, they just get thrown away because it's black plastic. So that's not good for recycling. I'm not sure why they don't do this in that grey plastic that you now get plant pots in, which are recyclable. This plastic is recyclable, but the problem with black plastic is that the machines that they use to spot different types of plastic don't pick up black. So these just get dumped. Anyway, there we are. That's it for today. I've got our 2 types of lettuce out. I have put the frames in place and secured them to the rebars. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with those jobs for today. And now I'm going to go home because we're still sorting out our shed of shame. And I'll be going into our back garden to take lots and lots of shed stuff. I mean, mainly it's wood now. It's mainly wood. We sorted through the shed largely yesterday. Some things are coming down to the plot to be shared with other allotment holders here. Some have just gone straight into the skip because things can't be reused. And now we've mainly got the frame of the shed, which is pretty decrepit. If you watch Richard's video on Planet Vegetaria yesterday, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yes, we have a shed at the bottom of our garden that is completely decrepit, and it is going into a skip. And obviously that skip then goes off, and if anything in that skip can be recycled, it is. And if things can't be recycled, then they go for landfill. So there we are. Right, I'm waffling, aren't I? I'm waffling. I'm going to attach this final one because I brought 8, or I found 8 and brought 8 down with me, but I've only secured 7 simply because I wanted to tell you about this. Anyway, see you again very soon. Bye. Oh, you might have wondered what the noise was out there. We're having a new secure fence line fitted on the allotment. So there's quite a lot of noise going on with 2 guys doing that at the moment. Yeah, waffling. Bye. Good day. Well, it's another blustery day. We've had lots of rain this morning and also quite a bit overnight. It's dry at the moment, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to do some top dressing with chicken manure pellets on the garlic and the onions and the bed that the Burpees, Iceberg and Amish deer tongue lettuce are now in. I need to do some weeding, though I think we're just behind the shed where the weather's sort of coming from. There's quite a black cloud, so I think we're going to get another dumping of rain quite soon, which will be great for those chicken manure pellets because it will start dampening them so that they start breaking up and dissolving and, as I say, melting into the soil. Maybe the term melding with the soil would be better because obviously they don't melt, they dissolve, but maybe melding with the soil. But yeah, with that rain coming in, I'm not going to do much weeding. There's a few things I want to read at home. So I think it's going to be a day mainly at home today. Obviously, we did Sunday chat this morning. Oh, yeah. Quite windy, quite windy. Not as windy as it was at the beginning of the week, but still very gusty. Still gusty. I've also just come down to have a look at the shed to see, because, in fact, let me just turn you round a bit. So my issue is, you can see here, the boards are separate. They're overlapping, but as you can see, there's daylight coming through there. Can you see daylight up here? Basically, when you see a shaft of light across my face, it's coming through one of these cracks when I'm in the shed. And I'm wondering how to deal with that. I know the linseed paint that I have will actually do some good in sealing these up because it's quite thick and it's oily. So I think that will actually be good once I have an opportunity to get onto here once the shed is completely dried out. But I'm just wondering what other people have done. Yeah, I mean, the guy who had the shed before me, if I can just twist you, can you see here, there's that, what do you call it, silica? That's got silica on it. Maybe if I move that out of the way. This bit here is silica gel. But what I have noticed is that the water still ingresses. So I'm not sure silica gel is the answer to these holes. Maybe once I've put a good dollop of linseed paint onto here, it'll start sealing it up. Yeah. Anyway, any thoughts on that would be greatly appreciated. Right, back to the garden, or the plot. We shall leave it there then, and hopefully I'll be able to get down here tomorrow and do some work in the morning so that I can edit together a week at the plot in the afternoon and upload that for going live on Monday. Oh yeah, I also I didn't say at the beginning, I came down, I wanted to come down anyway and have a look at the fence that's being put in, the new fence along our road, or the side of the plot alongside the road. So I've had a quick look at that. But somebody also called to say that we had 2 swans that were walking about the site. So I thought, right, okay, or they texted me actually. So I came down, and actually by the time I got down here, the 2 swans were making their way back to the river. So they'd obviously just come for a little visit to see what was going on. Anyway, I shall leave it there now and be back with you again tomorrow. Bye. Good day. Well, the much needed exodus of plants from home to the polytunnel has begun today. A bit of a windy day, but I wanted to get at least these 2 trays down. I'll leave tomatoes until tomorrow. But yeah, that adventure has begun. That's the first 2 trays down. Those are mainly peppers. They are orange bell and paprika from Vivi's Save Seed. We also save seed from a yellow long pepper that we bought at Morrison's last year, which was really nice. So we saved the seed. So some of those plants are that save seed. We've also got some Jamaica peppers from Brian and also some Tiny Tim tomatoes from Brian. So in fact, all of our peppers this year are save seed, which is great. At home, we've got another 4 trays of tomatoes to come down. They'll most probably come down tomorrow. A whole load of varieties. Interestingly, our pink Bulgarian, which we really like, didn't transplant that well. Everything else is done okay, but that one, we had quite a lot of dieback in the pink Bulgarian. And I think I'm going to sow a few more seeds because we really do like those. So yeah, I'm going to sow some more seeds of those tomorrow, and we'll see how they come on as we go into this warmer weather. How much later will they be producing? So yeah, we'll find out about that. This morning at our site has been a working party day. In fact, at the community gardens, it's also been a working party morning. I haven't been there. I've been at the allotment here. So we have, we're having new fence line, as you know, installed along our boundary, between the boundary and the road. And then just a bit further up that fence line is an awful lot of ivy over a lot of trees and old fence line. And it had fallen over and was really impeding the transit of the pavement, particularly for wheelchairs and for, you know, prams and that type of thing. So we have judiciously cut it back, and we've really been careful because we know that there are going to be nesting birds around at the moment. We've got them nesting in various of our hedges, and they like to nest not necessarily in the ivy, but in the trees behind the ivy. So when we have been cutting back with secateurs, so hand tools, we've been going into the ivy, just opening it up a little bit, sticking our head in, having a look to see if we can see any nests. And there were 3 that we could see. So we've been very careful in making sure that the area around the nest has been cut back for humans, but not cut back in such a way that it's going to open up the nest at all, or those 3 nests. So, you know, we needed to do it because it's a danger for people on the pavement, but it's about balancing that, you know, human nature side of things. We did cut the ivy back a good couple of months ago, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago, but unfortunately, because it's quite top heavy, it then fell forward, and that was the main issue with it overgrowing the path. So we've done that. It's all neat and tidy, but also, as I say, cut back in a way that is completely understanding of what is and could have been going on in that area. Other jobs being done There's some slabs being laid outside our communal shed, so there's levelling of ground being done, all in a socially distanced fashion, of course. There's been mowing of paths. In fact, I can hear a lawnmower at the moment, so there's mowing of communal paths that have been going on. There's also been the cutting back of paths. So we go around several times a year, and any growth that is impinging people's walking of the path, we cut back. We do expect plot holders to do that, but if plot holders do not do that, then we will cut back ourselves when we have these working parties. And that's to make sure that brambles don't, fully encroach on a path, or there aren't fruit trees that have branches coming out into the path that might poke people in the eye, that type of thing. We've also opened up a ditch on an area of the plot that is little used, or an area of the site rather that is little used. It used to be an old irrigation trench. When the new irrigation was put in, that trench became redundant. However, it's a perfect area for people to be able to put their green detritus, clippings, weeds, that type of thing. And then we tread it down, and we cover it, and we put more on, and we tread it down, and it basically rots it all down over time. So yeah, it's been quite a busy morning, which is great. And now I'm going to go home. Richard's doing some lunch, which is great, for 1:30. So it's now, it's 24 minutes past 1, so I better get home. And I'll be putting this segment into the rest of a week at the plot, which I edited this morning, and uploading it this afternoon. So I most probably will I be back? I've left the polytunnel shut just in case I don't come back. But what I do need to do before I go is water the polytunnel in case I don't come back. So I'm going to do that quickly before I get home, or before I start my way home. Anyway, that's it for this week, and I'll see you again for another A Week at the Plot next week. Bye.